we have another LuxeRox box. So the first week after I started my independent sales and marketing business back in January of 2020, my friends and I took a road trip through Arizona and ended up at the Tucson Gem Show. I had never seen fine mineral specimens before, and I was so inspired by the crystals I'd never seen, like fluorite and celestite and pyrite. I came home from Tucson with a love of travel and exotic gems. I was ready to take on the world, and then COVID. Trade shows were canceled, travel was limited, and the career that I had thought was possible when I was in Tucson was suddenly out of reach. Owning my own business, I had to pivot constantly, and I failed more times than I can count. But I finally ended up in a place where I can help businesses market and sell trustworthy and quality product, and I can help retailers and customers connect with trustworthy vendors. Which brings me here to my new partnership with LuxeRox, educating people on minerals and featuring museum quality specimens on my channel. An appropriate mineral for my personal collection is anything with malachite because it's actually known as the stone of transformation. This is a combination of malachite and azurite. Malachite is the green one, and on its own, it's actually quite valuable. It's beautiful as a specimen, and it's also really beautiful in jewelry. Azurite is the blue part. So the green is malachite, the blue is azurite. And the word azurite actually comes from the same root word as lapis lazuli, which is lazuli. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce it, but it means blue. I'm guessing the word azure, which also means blue, also comes from that word. The green is like velvety. That's nice. And then the blue, it's like glittery almost, like stars in the night sky. Doesn't smell like anything. Azurite is a deep blue copper carbonate hydroxide, and it can sometimes look so dark that it appears black. It's actually been known to be used as a pigment or dye for different types of painting, particularly in 15th to 17th century European art. It's mostly ornamental and doesn't have much industrial use. It's mainly mined because it's an ore of copper. And it's often found with malachite. Ooh. I guess I don't need this, right? Oh my gosh, it's weirdly heavy. All right, I'm just gonna put this somewhere. Azurite's often found with malachite. They're considered secondary minerals, which refers to a mineral that has been produced through the alteration of a primary mineral, or one that has been crystallized directly through an igneous, sedimentary, or metamorphic process. So for instance, turquoise is an example of a secondary mineral, which sounds boring, but it leads me to something really interesting. Malachite has a lot of historical and archaeological significance, and may be the earliest ore of copper. You know, copper. It's used in like everything. Do you hear that sound? That's the cat. They've actually found malachite that was probably mined as early as 3000 BC. People love their green. When I was a student at GIA, which is the Gemological Institute of America, my eyes would get really strained from looking through the microscope for so long. The gemology instructor told me to step outside and look at the grass because it was green, and the color green is calming to the nervous system. It worked. I later found out that some migraine sufferers actually use special green lamps to help treat the pain. The word malachite actually comes from the Greek word for mallow, which is a type of plant. I think I got sidetracked. Back to the important stuff. It really was super significant in ancient times. And it has to do with the whole like used to be copper thing, right? The secondary mineral thing. I'm getting there, I swear. Apparently, you can turn malachite back into copper. Yeah. Remember when I said it's a secondary mineral? Ancient peoples did this because they obviously needed copper, and it turned into a whole industry of miners, smelters, and forgers. That's actually probably why it's called the Stone of Transformation. It transforms back into copper. So if you know someone who's going through a transformation, whether it's like getting a new job or getting a new baby or a new spouse, adding a new human or changing their lifestyle in some way, like my story of starting my business, you ought to click the link in the description and gift them an Azurite Malachite specimen from LuxeRox. LuxeRox is actually a crystal subscription box. Yeah, that exists. But they also sell individual mineral specimens that you can just buy one at a time. If you want to do the subscription, you can do a 3-month subscription or a 6-month subscription. And what's really cool about that is if you get the subscription for yourself, if you have a month where you need to give someone a gift, you can opt to forward that month's mineral to your loved one. I mean, they don't have to be a loved one. It could be someone you don't like. It could be a client or your mother-in-law. I laugh. I love my mother-in-law. Or if you just want to do the gift box, you can buy a gift box subscription, and those start at 3 months as well. You can read more by clicking the links in my description. And if you're interested in buying the gold and silver jewelry that I'm wearing, check out Gold and Smoke, also in the video description.